So we're just going to talk about your role in the what we call the course review process, and the Elon's role in that process back to you, and the resources you have for finding your information. But the first question you're probably asking is, why do I have to submit another form for study abroad? I'm already submitting all kinds of applications, all kinds of forms, all kinds of information to Elon and to the host program. This is yet one more that I have to submit. And the answer is, we want you to know how the courses you're going to take abroad will transfer back to Elon before you take them, to help you with your overall planning for graduation, because we want you to graduate on time. So this is all about giving you enough information to help you make your course selection choices while you're abroad. So your role as a student in this is to know the same thing that you know every semester when you go to register for classes at Elon. You need to know exactly where you are in your overall academic plan for Elon. I feel like I'm blocking the screens for the folks over here. What you're planning on working on as far as academic requirements the semester you're abroad, what the host program is offering, which would be the equivalent of Elon's schedule of courses, how the courses are going to count, and submit the form to us so we can answer all those questions for you. And then the one final step for some of you would be to get department chair approval if our office tells you that you need that. And then our role in this conversation is to tell you two big pieces of information. The first is, how is the course that I'm taking abroad going to transfer to Elon? In other words, how is it going to be listed on my transcript? That's one piece of information. A separate but related piece of information is, does that course fit the requirement I'm hoping to satisfy? So we're providing those two answers back to you. So for every course you're submitting to us, there's two pieces of information we ask from you, and we give you two pieces of information back. And then finally, just a reminder that what you're doing with us is to get pre-approval for kind of your shopping cart or list of courses you're hoping to take abroad. It is not your registration for classes at the host program. So you're going to handle registration separately with the host program at some point down the road. This is to give you a list of choices to go into that registration process with, okay? So on the worksheet that I gave you, and again, most of you are far along in this process already, and that's great. But that worksheet is just some questions to kind of guide your decision process when it comes to course selection. And I would call your attention to the first item and the last item on the worksheet, because the first question is knowing exactly where you are with Elon. And that's a simple statement, but it encompasses a lot of information. You need to know where you are in terms of progress for your major, your minors, the core curriculum. You need to know if you have flexibility in what you can take the semester you're abroad. So in other words, if you were really planning on completing your core literature requirement the semester you're abroad, then you need to think about some what-if scenarios. And what happens if I don't take literature while I'm abroad? Can I fit it in when I come back? Do I have room to take what we would call a free elective? And that is a course that you're not using towards your major or minors or towards core curriculum. It's hours towards graduation, but it's not checking off any other box in your degree audit. That's a free elective. So you need to know, do I have room for any of those this semester I'm abroad? Because that affects your course selection. And then I mentioned the alternate scenarios. You need to think through what would happen if you don't get your first course choice. And by that I mean not that, okay, I want to take Marketing 311A, and if that doesn't work out, I'm going to take Marketing 311B. That's not what we're talking about. It's, I'm going to work on literature when I'm abroad. What happens if I can't take a literature course for some reason? What happens if that doesn't work out? Can I fit literature in when I come back to Elon and take something else in its place while I'm abroad? So you want to be thinking about those what-if scenarios while you're here on campus, and can talk to your advisor, can work with the staff in the Academic Advising Center, can work with the rest of us here on campus to answer your questions. Just so you know what you would do if that would happen. because registration will be different from what you're used to at Elon. So you have resources to help you. And I'm just going to turn a page myself here. So on the Elon side, it's the same resources you work with all the time for your registration planning. Your degree audit, the academic catalog, your academic advisor, and then also the staff at the Academic Advising Center is always available to help you think through those what-if scenarios, or maybe you're trying to decide whether you can add a minor or add a major with your study abroad. The staff in the Academic Support Center can help you think that through and plan through that if you're not sure if that would all fit in. But I listed the academic catalog first on this list, and for a very specific reason. The degree audit is a tool, is a resource that you have to track your progress towards graduation, but the source of all the definitions, all the requirements, all the rules about all your majors, minors, core curriculum is the academic catalog. So the degree audit is not going to have all the details about what is and is not possible for a major or a minor. It may not have the complete explanation of all the categories. That's going to be in the academic catalog. So if you're wondering if you can work on advanced studies while you're abroad and you're not sure what subjects count in advanced studies, the academic catalog is your resource to find that answer. So they're all online. There's 12 or 14 years worth of academic catalogs online, so you can look that information up at any time. The degree audit is taking the information from the academic catalog and putting it into that checklist progress list that you have, but it's pulling information from the catalog. So the catalog is always the source of all your information for academic requirements and questions. So. And then the other important resource that you have, and if you haven't found it yet, you need to know where to find it, and that is the list of courses or the offerings at your host program. Again, that's host program information. That's not Elon information. So you need to know where to find it on the host program website, how they present that information, what language they use to talk about course offerings, and why am I saying that? If anybody here is studying in a program in the United Kingdom at institutions like St. Andrews or Sussex or University College Dublin, you might have seen language that talks about modules, not courses. Or when you clicked on a link for courses, it took you to the list of the requirements for the BA major in history. And that's because jargon can be different in different countries, or how they translate language into English if English is not the first language for the institution might be different. So you need to know how the host program talks about their academic information. You need to know if your host program has a required course. If you're going on semester at sea, there's a required course. If you're going to FIE, any of our programs in Dublin have a required course. So regardless of what else you were planning on taking, you've got to take that required course. So you've got to allow for that in your planning. If you're going to any of the programs in CIEE programs that we affiliate with in Spain, there's probably a required Spanish course that you have to take, even if you've already met the world language proficiency for Elon. So you need to know that so you can plan for that as part of your course selection. The other thing is the nature of the academic information, the course information you're seeing, especially right now for fall, might not be the final list of courses. It might be a tentative list. It might be a sample list. These are courses that have been offered typically in the past. It might be the final one, depending on your program. Or it might be partial. It might not be finished yet. So you need to know what you're looking at. So you know that you might have to go back later and pick more choices when the host program finalizes their list of selections. So I just want to present that to you. Know where to find the information on the host program website and know the nature of the information that you're looking at. That's going to be key. So I talked about the nature of the information and required courses. So these are some statements that I've just pulled from some of our affiliate partners from their websites. It's talking about the required courses that they have. So semester at sea, the courses, the programs in Ireland and programs in Spain. So this is language listed right from the host program website. How they list it, where they list it is different with every program. You just need to know where to find it. Your global education center advisor for your program, if you're having troubles navigating the website, they can help you because they know it very well also. So, and then the other thing that the host program will tell you, as I said, is the nature of the information that you're looking at. So the top statement is from one of the programs in Spain, and it's telling you that the program is preliminary or tentative, and that it is subject to change. Anybody who's going to Argentina with the CIEE program, they don't find out until they get there what's being offered. So what they're seeing on the website is very tentative right now, or representative. So you just need to know that. So these are just some links to the resources back at Elon. So this will be in the presentation for you, so you can go out and copy these if you need to. The link directly to the core curriculum requirements in the current catalog, the link to the major and minor section in the current catalog, and then the link on the bottom is a link to a database that we have running out of the registrar's office. It's a we call it transfer articulation. It's a table of transfer courses that we have posted for students in the past from programs all over the world, including domestic transfer credit and study abroad credit. So you can get a sense of how courses have transferred from your program in the past, depending on which program it is. For some of them, we have a lot of history, and for some of them that we don't send as many students, we don't have quite as much history. So it's a starting point or a reference tool for you as you're looking through the course schedule. You can see, they've offered this course before, and it's transferred as course X back to Elon, or this is a program that we haven't had much traffic with, but again, it's history, and it's not the comprehensive list of every course from every program. So that's why we have you submit the choices to us to review for you. But I just wanted you to know it's out there as a resource. Okay. So when you submit the course review form to our office, we're looking at it based on the information that you're giving us, because you're not right in front of me to ask you questions like, did you mean to use that in your major, or were you going to use that in your minor? All I know is what you've given me on the course review form. So we're reviewing the information based on exactly what you've told us. And that goes for every course that you're taking abroad, including internships. And I'm going to talk about internships a little bit more here. If your program offers an internship and you're going to take the internship abroad, we're not going to assume anything when you submit the form. You need to tell us where in your program you want to use the internship. So, because you might have more than one major, you might have several minors. We're not going to assume that you're going to use that course in your major. You have to tell us, I want to use this in my comm major. I want to use this internship in my history minor. Because depending on what part of your program you wish to use the course will drive what kind of a department chair approval you might have to get for that course. So for internships, we're not assuming anything. If you don't tell us where you want to use it, if you just list the internship with nothing as far as the category you want to use it in, we're going to tell you that's going to transfer as COE 381, which is the internships run out of the Student Professional Development Center. So that's a generic internship. You can always come back and say, I meant to say I was going to use that in my major, or my business major, or my ESS minor, or what have you. You can always clarify that. But if you don't give us that information, we're not going to make any presumptions on your behalf. Okay? So again, you need to tell us exactly what you're hoping to do with each course. So again, most of you, I think all of you have submitted at least one of these. So this is just representative information from what students have sent us in the past. The two columns on the left are what you're submitting to me and to my colleague, Alexander Taylor, to tell us the exact course at the host program. Because again, the programs that differ widely. Some of them don't use course numbers. Some of them use numbers and titles. Some of them use a very different course numbering system from what you're used to at Elon. But we need the complete course number if they use one at the host program, and then also the full course title. So if you list just the course number, that gives us pause, because, as I just paused here, because at some programs, they have very similar course numbers for a range of courses, and it's easy to be off one digit when you submit a course. At some programs, they have courses, multiple courses with the same title at different levels in their curriculum. So we're asking for full information, numbers and titles from the host program. And then the second column is where you're telling me what Elon requirement you're hoping to satisfy. So we're not asking, I think this course is going to transfer as History 111. You don't have to worry about that. What I need you to tell me is, I want to take this course to satisfy principles of management in my marketing major. I want to take this course to satisfy advanced studies outside my major. So again, as specific as you can be, because that's how we can, that's the information we need to give answers back to you. And then the 4 columns on the right are the information we're sending back to you. The first 2 columns are the answer to the first question that I'm giving you. How is this course going to be listed on your Elon transcript? So subject and course number and credit hours. When you see course numbers with an XX, like 3XX and 4XX that are listed here, that means that course does not match exactly a course that Elon teaches, but it will transfer as an elective in that subject. So that means elective in that subject. And then the last 2 columns are the answer to the second question: does this course fit the requirement you asked for? So it could be the credits will transfer, but they don't meet the requirement you are trying to satisfy. So, and that's individual with each and every one of you. So we're asking for that information to be able to give you good answers so you can plan your course registration with the host program. Okay. So this is just a blow up of the statement. If you need department chair approval, we're going to tell you that you need that, and we're going to give you the information who the department chair is that you need to contact. But then it's up to you to decide whether you want to pursue that or not. We have to follow the rules that are defined in the academic catalog. Again, it all comes back to the academic catalog. We have to follow the rules and requirements as they're defined in the catalog. And if something doesn't meet that exactly and you're hoping to pursue it in that category, we have to refer you to the chair of the department, because it's the chairs who can make those decisions, not the registrar's office. So know what you need to take exactly. Know where you have flexibility. Think about those what-if scenarios. Think about how you might have to change things around or could change things around. And there's a lot of reasons why you might change your course registration, even if you get all your first choices initially from the host program. But if you have an internship placement, you might find that there's a schedule conflict with one of your first choice courses in the internship, and you have to make a choice there. Some of your programs are going to list the names of the courses that they're offering, but you're not going to have the meeting times until you get to the host country, and that's when you find out you have a schedule conflict. Something might be, same as Elon, something might be canceled, something might be added that you didn't know was going to be there, and you're interested in taking that. So for all of those reasons, or just during drop ad, you decide you'd rather take something else rather than a course that was your first choice for whatever reason. For all those reasons, think about the what-if scenarios. How can I swap things around and still graduate on time? Where do I have flexibility? Where do I have absolutes? Have all those answers going into drop ad at the host program, and then you'll be ready to deal with what might come up during that process, because you'll have plenty to do with getting settled at your host program with everything else, getting used to a new city, a new institution, a new way of doing things academically. So, and you can submit more choices to our office as much as you want. You can just go out and grab another blank form and send them in. We're happy to review as many choices as you want to submit. and we can continue that process all through the drop add period at your host program.